All right. What's up, everybody? My people, Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or Staten Island, my homeboro, Brooklyn. Back into the video, and this is going to be another video on how great somebody was. Last video was on Larry Bird. This is going to be on the great Hakeem, the Dream Olajuwon, who's probably become one of the most underrated players in NBA history. I don't think people really recognize how great Hakeem was. Hakeem is top 10 in my opinion, just my opinion, and he's, in my opinion, arguably the greatest center of all time. Arguably, you can definitely put him up there. With Kareem, I put him up there with Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Shaq. I put Hakeem up there. You can argue he's better. He's for damn sure the most skilled center of all time. He's also one of the most influential NBA players of all time. And what I mean by that is in terms of style of play. All the shit you see Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Davis and Greek Freak and Porzingis, all these bigs doing, Hakeem was doing back in the 80s and 90s. The quote-unquote guard skills, the handling, the shooting, long-range jump shooting. And of course, these guys can shoot threes better than Hakeem could, but Hakeem could take long twos and stuff like that. Hakeem was doing that back in the 80s and 90s. Now, let's get into this. Hakeem, of course, from Lagos, Nigeria, was born January 21st, 1963. He didn't start playing basketball until the age of, I believe, 16 years old. He played soccer in his youth, and he was a goalkeeper. He immigrated to the United States to play for the University of Houston. Houston Cougars under the coach Guy Lewis. He was from that Phi Slama Jama team that, of course, lost the '83 national championship game to probably the greatest Cinderella team of all time, the '83 NC State Wolfpack. In 1984, Hakeem was picked first overall by the Houston Rockets in that legendary draft class of Hakeem, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. All four of those guys, of course, are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Hakeem went number one. He'd be paired up with Ralph Sampson, who was the number one overall pick the year before in '83. Not number one overall pick, but he was Houston's first pick in '83. Ralph Sampson was the rookie of the year. The next year in '84-85, game paired up with Hakeem. They led the Rockets to a 48-34 record. Sampson was named the All-Star Game MVP. The next year in '85-86, they were 51-31. They swept the Sacramento Kings in the first round. They defeated the Denver Nuggets in six games in the conference semifinals, and they blew out the Los Angeles Lakers in 5 games. Now, mind you, this is the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers had won the championship the year before, and they were looking to repeat to repeat. I don't think they would have because they had played that legendary 86 Celtics squad. So I don't think they would have repeated, but they probably would give Celtics a run for their money. And Hakeem, he played great against the legendary Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that series. Averaged 31 points, 4 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists, 12 boards. And they blew out the Lakers in 5 on some miracle Ralph Sampson shot. In the finals against the legendary 86 Celtics, granted, Hakeem, they lost that series, but it took them 6 games to defeat the Celtics. And in that series against Robert Parrish, Hakeem had averaged 25 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists, and 12 rebounds against Robert Parrish. In 1990, Hakeem recorded, obviously you can see right here, a quadruple-double, which has rarely been done in NBA history. 18 points, 16 boards, 11 blocks, 10 assists. 86-87, from 86-87 through 90-91, the Rockets kept making the playoffs, getting knocked out. 87, they got knocked out in the second round, and 88, knocked down the first round. 89, knocked down the first round. 90, knocked down the first round. 91, got swept by the Lakers. Next year, 42-40, they missed the playoffs. Hakeem was very unhappy, and he demanded a trade from Houston. Until he became a Muslim. And through his Muslim faith, he learned how to control his temper, and he got better as a player. The Rockets got better as a team. They added, as you saw in the previous picture, Vernon Mad Max Maxwell, a great 2-guard. They had Kenny the Jet Smith. They drafted Robert Horry in '92. They had Otis Thorpe and Mario Elie. In '92-93, Hakeem Olajuwon was named the Defensive Player of the Year. The Rockets returned to the playoffs with a 55-27 record. But they lost in 7 to the Seattle Supersonics. Who knows if the Rockets had gotten to that conference finals, I think they would have defeated Chuck and the Suns. I honestly do, because they had no answer for Hakeem. So I think they would have got to the finals against the Bulls, and who knows what would have happened. Next year, 93-94, Hakeem had probably one of the greatest seasons by an individual player in NBA history. Obviously, you can see he was third in scoring. He was all NBA first team and all NBA defensive first team. He was the defensive player of the year, the league MVP. The Rockets went 58-24. They blew out the Blazers in the first round, defeated the Suns in 7 in the second round, blew out the Jazz in 5 in the conference finals, and against the Patrick Ewing led New York Knicks. They were down 3-2. Hakeem blocked John Stark's shot in Game 6 and cooked Patrick in Game 7. Cooked Patrick in Game 7 to win the Finals MVP and then the league win the Finals MVP and win the first championship for the city of Houston. Not just the Rockets franchise, but the entire city of Houston. Hakeem does dominant. That was played great against Patrick in that series. Probably one of the greatest finals performances of all time. Hakeem averaged 27 points, 4 blocks, 2 steals, 4 assists, and 9 boards. Next year, the Rockets kind of struggled. 94, 95, they were struggling. I believe they were 500, and then they made a trade for Hakeem's old college teammate, Clyde the Glide Drexler, and they sent Otis Thorpe to the Portland Trailblazers. The Rockets finished that season 47-35 and 6th in the West. A lot of people didn't think they were going to win the championship. They faced Karl Malone, John Stockton in the first round, beat him in 5, 3-2. They rematched against Chuck and the Suns, and were down 3-1. Then Hakeem picked up the pace, and the Suns choked, and they ended up beating the Suns in 7. Against the Spurs in the conference finals. That's probably one of the great, it's probably one of the most embarrassing moments to ever happen to a league MVP. That year, David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs was named the MVP of the league over Hakeem Olajuwon, and some of Hakeem's teammates felt it should have been him. I remember watching the Clutch City documentary, and Clyde Drexler told Hakeem, I think they just gave your trophy to David Robinson because they had the MVP ceremony in front of the Rockets. And according to Clyde Drexler, Hakeem told him, Drex, do not worry. We will get the big trophy. And boy, oh boy, did they ever get that big trophy. Again, why? Because Hakeem embarrassed David Robinson. Just embarrassed him. This dude was named the league MVP and got cooked. Hakeem averaged 35 points, 4 blocks, 1 steal, 5 assists, and 12 boards. Just cooked him. Dream shaked him to death. In the finals, and they got to the finals. They beat the Suns. They beat the Spurs in Game 6 on their floor. They went off to face against the young Orlando Magic, who the NBA had been building up to replace the Bulls. Jordan had retired, so the NBA needed to replace them with a new dynasty. But fortunately, Michael Jordan came back. This Bulls team was led by Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, Neil 3D, Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, Horace Grant, former Bull. Good. And a lot of people thought the Magic were going to win. Of course, Nick Anderson in Game 1 missed those 4 free throws. Kenny had 7 threes. He erupted. And, they held on to win Game 1. Hakeem blocked a shot at the end of the game to win that one. That was it for the Magic. After Nick missed those 4 free throws, Hakeem went on to average in that series 33 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5.5 assists, 11.5 boards. Just embarrassed Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq had good numbers, but Hakeem was just cooking them. And Shaq said, I couldn't intimidate Hakeem. Hakeem was the only player Shaq couldn't intimidate. And, of course, the Rockets went on to sweep the Orlando Magic and probably complete the greatest championship run in NBA history for a team and for a player in Hakeem. To beat John Stockton, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley and the Suns. David Robinson was the MVP, and then Shaquille O'Neal. And you were a 6 seed to do it. It's probably one of the greatest playoff runs ever. The Rockets went back-to-back, and they solidified their legacy as Clutch City. And Hakeem solidified his legacy as the second best player of that era, of course, behind the great Michael Jordan. Of course, in the summer of 96, Hakeem was named to the second Dream Team along with Shaq and a bunch of other players, Charles Barkley, so on and so forth. Scottie Pippen, I believe, was on this team. Mike wasn't. I just wanted to show you how high esteem Hakeem Olajuwon is in. Michael Jordan said numerous times, Hakeem, in his all-time starting lineup, he would take Hakeem. He said he would take Magic, James Worthy, Scottie Pippen, and Hakeem. That's how high esteem he holds Hakeem Olajuwon in. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, used to work with Hakeem to work on his low post moves. Hakeem's probably one of the best low post scorers of all time. Him, Kevin McHale. Kobe worked with him. Hakeem called Kobe his best student. LeBron James worked with him. Okay? Of course, LeBron doesn't play in the post no more, but he should get his big ass back in the post. But, hey, LeBron was under the tutelage of Hakeem Olajuwon. Even Dwight Howard was under the tutelage of Hakeem Olajuwon. He went to work with Hakeem. He stopped doing all the moves, and he went back to work with Hakeem. Hakeem was elected to the Basketball Hall of Fame in the class of 2006. Hakeem Olajuwon, for his career, played in the NBA from 84 to 02. For 18 years, 2 championships, 2 Finals MVPs, league MVP. It was a 12-time All-Star, 6 All-NBA first teams, a 2-time back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, 5 All-Defensive first teams, twice he led the league in rebounds, 3 times led the league in blocks. He's on the 50th anniversary all-time NBA team. He has the most blocks in NBA history. Hakeem is the all-time leader in blocks, and of course he has a gold medal. He well deserved to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Hakeem is, again, my top 10 players of all time. You know, he's arguably the greatest center of all time. I have him in the second half of my top 10. I have him in that 6 to 10 range. You know, if you disagree with that, comment down below. Where do you have Hakeem all time? You know, like I said, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, all these dudes, and the entire NBA. If you saw Hakeem Olajuwon, you know Hakeem Olajuwon's career. You studied his career and his highlights on YouTube. You know this dude was no joke. Okay, like I said, Joel Embiid, Porzingis, Giannis, all this shit these guys were doing, Hakeem was doing back in the 80s and 90s. That's why I say he's one of the most influential players in terms of style of all time. You know, and of course he's a legend in the city of Houston. He's probably the greatest Houston athlete of all time, arguably. You know, him, Earl Campbell. You know, for the old Houston Oilers, Andre Johnson, J.J. Watt. You know, Craig Biggio for the Houston Astros. Whoever you want to throw in there is the greatest Houston athlete of all time. Hakeem's probably number one. But what do y'all think? Y'all like this video? Click the like button, subscribe, help young brother go on YouTube, and comment down below, all right? See y'all. A shout out to The Dream.